All right, so in week 1, we learned how to solve a system of equations by graphing. Last week, we solved a system of equations by substitution, and this week we are going to solve using elimination. Solve using elimination. This is by far my favorite way to solve. That might be saying I'm a math teacher if I have a favorite way to solve a system of equations. But anyways, so yesterday we talked about how you can add any two equations together and you can subtract any two equations if you would like. So I'm just going to start off with an example. We'll see if you notice anything. All right, so let's say we start off with 3x plus 4y equals 12. And then, so that's our first equation. And let's say our second equation is, let's do 5x minus 4y equals 4. Okay, so yesterday we talked about adding two equations. So let's go ahead and let's just try it and see what happens. So I always put a big plus sign up front and I put a bar underneath, just like we did yesterday. So I'm going to add these together. So this is similar to pizza and pop. So I have, like, pretend this is your pizza, this is your drink. The only difference is you can't technically have a negative drink, but that's okay. It applies for all equations. All right, so if I add 3x plus 5x, I get 8x. If I add what's 4y plus a negative 4y, okay, well, that's just 0y. And then if I add 12 plus 4, I get 16. Okay, so now if I look at this, I have 8x equals 16. And how do I solve for x? Well, I just draw the line down. And I divide both sides by 8. And I end up with x equals 2. And I have my x coordinate. So remember, you always write your answer as a coordinate pair. So I already know that my x is 2. Okay, so if my x is 2, I need to find out what y is. So now you go back and you do substitution. So I can take this 2, which is x, and I can substitute it in for either the top equation or the bottom equation, and it doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to pick the top one because it doesn't have any negatives in it. So I'm going to take this 2, which is my x value, and I'm going to plug it in for this top equation. So let me just rewrite what I have. So I have 3x plus 4y equals 12. And I have my x is 2. So I'm just going to write x equals 2. So I'm going to substitute this 2 because it's an x. I'm going to put it in for that x right there. So when I substitute, it's going to look like 3. And then instead of x, I put a 2 plus 4y equals 12. I apologize right now that we're going to get a decimal, but that's okay. I distribute the 3, so 3 times 2 is 6 plus 4y equals 12. Draw the line down the middle. Subtract 6 from both sides. And I get 4y equals 6. Divide both sides by 4. You end up with y equals, if you put 6 divided by 4 into your calculator, you just get 1.5. And then this answer goes right here. So 1.5. And that is an example of elimination. So if you look at the problem that we started with, notice how, okay, so these just gave us 8. The thing that gave us the 0, they were the same number, they had the same variable, but the only difference was they had different signs. So if you ever have it where they have different signs, but everything else is the same, elimination is a great choice because they're going to cancel each other out. So let's try another one.